10th house is the barometer to monitor and evaluate.
By raising our IGR from partisan
where we at the National Office will focus on going to conclusion.
And as a child of God, as one who fear God,
the driver of our project.
We also like to know what the scheme is doing.
Independence Day is a very historic event in the...
Is a testimonial you need to acknowledge.
I want to know if there is any plan or program.
So it is only for Nigerians to doubt and go to the next level.
And to align the service, the price paid by consumers with the quality of service that they receive from the utilities. So the power outage reporting system will help us in a long way.
And there's many people inside. They are sleeping there, but they take some to hospital. They take them to hospital. Some are dead, some their head has break, some are their leg, everything. They have taken them to hospital.
I'm not an abode for crime and criminals. My ancestral home was a forest, a thick Penkunkun mountain for safety from arrest, a home for hunting and farming in times of hunger and famine.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing where we can support the new House of Assembly and your agenda.
Join us next week, same time, same station. Your host, Folashade Abdusalam. Bye for now.
The legislative agenda of the 10th House is the barometer to monitor and evaluate.
Hello everyone, I welcome you to this fresh edition of your favorite program, Abuja Weekly Fire. I'm your host, Folashade Abdusalam. This program has been bringing to you events in Abuja on a weekly basis, mainly on governance issues, capturing activities in the three arms of government. We also capture developments in the political arena, civil society organizations, and sundry events. It will be recalled that the first few days in the new year have recorded several topical issues on national dimensions. Among them was the suspension of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Beta Edu, by President Bola Tinubu for alleged fraud. The President also signed the 2024 national budget. The nation is still grappling with cases of banditry, kidnapping, and ransom, which have now shifted to the Federal Capital Territory. To stem the tide, the President has mandated the security agencies to do all it takes to end the rising cases of kidnapping, banditry within the Federal Capital Territory and other parts of the country. Consequently, the federal authorities have charged members of the public to cooperate with the security agencies by not paying ransoms to kidnappers for the release of their loved ones in captivity. Also, the President, during Wednesday Federal Executive Council meeting, reacted to Tuesday's explosion in Ibadan, Oyo State, which has left part of the city in ruins. The explosion has triggered calls for clampdown on illegal mining activities in the country. The federal government has expressed readiness to partner with the European Union and the United States towards reviving and protecting Nigerians' educational sector. These are some of the interesting stories we have lined up for your viewing in this edition, alongside developments in the police and other federal government agencies. Please stay with us.
In a bid to tackle the nation's security challenges, President Bola Tinubu set a decisive tone during his first working week in 2024. President Tinubu addressed security chiefs after the presidential air fleet ceremony, emphasizing the need for intensified effort to end security threats across the country. Also, during the Federal Executive Council meeting, Defense Minister Abubakar Badaru highlighted the government's commitment to addressing banditry and kidnapping, urging Nigerians not to pay ransom to kidnappers. The defense minister spoke against the background of the recent massive explosion in Ibadan, the Oyo state capital, which left a sizable chunk of the Asians in ruins. The government then set up a committee to review the existing laws on the handling of explosives.
In Ibadan, where the governor suggests at the preliminary investigation revealed that there are some explosives around the area that it happens that are owned by some illegal miners. Well, we have seen that report. There is another report that is suggesting also gas explosion. So our team are there to try to find out what is the cause. But the council, to be proactive, already set up the committee that I told you to look into how the control of explosive law is broken, if indeed there are explosives around the area where these incidents happen. But you all know there is strict rule on the storage, movement, and ownership of explosives. And that rule is being monitored. And if there is any breakdown, we will find out and deal with it. On the case of kidnapping around FCT, so concerted effort is being done by security agencies to really look into the situation and stop it immediately. As you are aware, people are panicking that are saying FCT. Well, these kidnappings happen around the suburb area of FCT in Buhari local government, majorly around towns or locations that are bordering Kaduna and Niger. And this is as a result of the current operation going on in the northwest and some part of north central. The bandits are fleeing and they are getting shelters around this. And the security agencies are working very hard to push them out and block the movement and finish this thing once and for all. And the president has given us the marching order and all the support that the security agencies needed to end this thing. And on crowdfunding, we all know that there exists a law that prevents payment of ransom. So it is very sad for people to go over the internet, radio, asking for donation to pay ransom. This will only worsen the situation. It will not help the situation at all, as you have seen. Initially, they asked for, I think, 60 million. And now, because of this funding that they learned, somebody has raised 50 million already through friends and media. They jack off the ransom. We believe we have to stop, as painful as it is. We have to stop responding to payment of ransom. If we stop, over time, the kidnapping will not be profitable and they will stop. It's not easy though, but that is the rule that you all know. So we want to call in the people to please manage kidnapping situation very intelligently and very quietly. Because talking too much about it, more especially raising funds through the public media, is not productive at all.
These were part of the discussions at the first Federal Executive Council meeting for 2024 held on Wednesday. The Health Minister, Ali Pate, announced measures to support local manufacturers of pharmaceuticals. Party said that this was part of government's interventions to make pharmaceuticals consumables affordable to public and to also assist manufacturers overcome the high cost of production.
Today, at the Federal Executive Council, Mr. President took 3 far-reaching decisions relating to the health sector. The first is on the rising cost of pharmaceuticals, the acute crisis that we have in the pharmaceutical price, the prices of pharmaceuticals, which is going beyond the reach of many Nigerians. Life-saving commodities, devices like syringes and needles, and the exit of major companies from our market. Those decisions also include the regulation of the sector to protect the health and well-being of Nigerians. And the third decision is regarding how we deal with the crisis of human resources in the health sector. The first on the syringes, drugs, pharmaceuticals, and other devices. As you will recall, Mr. President, in his wisdom, at the end of last year, in October, approved an initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain and appointed a coordinator for that. But we know that the price of pharmaceuticals have escalated and many entities have decided to withdraw, and some of the local manufacturers in Nigeria are struggling. Mr. President's intent is that we begin to take steps to enable the local manufacturers to survive, to thrive, and to deliver the basic commodities that are key to saving their lives. And he directed that the Attorney General of the Federation work with us to come up with an executive order, which is the mechanism through which he will act, given the concern that he has that many Nigerians are suffering from the cost of pharmaceuticals, as well as other devices.
Also, Trade and Investment Minister Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite stated that the president had mandated the various committees on fiscal and tax reforms and industrial revitalization to come up with realistic ways of jump-starting economic revival. She added that Council also approved the ratification of Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates. Uzoka Anite further explained that the approval would enable the already signed IPPA to be sent to the National Assembly for ratification.
The rising cost of goods and services in the country, as well as the rising cost of doing business in Nigeria, and also noted the excitement and optimism of the real sector that the renewed hope agenda will bring a prosperous 2024. We deliberated on how we can actually improve the manufacturing, the ease of doing, improve the business environment for manufacturers and industrialists. As you recall, the priority of this government is to promote and protect local industries and manufacturers. And this will mean that we must do all that is necessary to remove all the roadblocks and bottlenecks impeding or impacting businesses. We are removing and we've removed these roadblocks. And these roadblocks include multiple taxation, multiple levies, custom duties and various levies that are imposed on businesses, infrastructural decay, including power. As you recall, the president already set up the Presidential Council on Industrial Revitalization, as well as the Presidential Council on Fiscal Reform and Tax Policy Review. His Excellency now mandated that the committee or this council must fast-track their reports and their review and come up quickly with their recommendations so that the real sector and the citizens can begin to feel the impact of the renewed hope agenda. As you will recall, the Presidential Council on Industrial Revitalization includes the following: the Committee on Consumer Credit, Committee on Artisan Certification and Licensing, Committee on Trade Facilitation, Committee on Commodity Exchange, Committee on Mining and Solid Mineral, Committee on Oil and Gas, Creative Economy, Steel and Heavy Industries, and now Healthcare has also opted to join the Presidential Council, as well as the Committee on MSMEs. The FEC noted that when this committee finalizes its review and comes up with its report, that we will be implementing policies that will jumpstart the economy again and see us experiencing a double-digit growth rate in the GDP, as well as being on track to achieve the vision of His Excellency to achieve a $1 trillion economy. For this to happen, we have been mandated and charged to come up with the resolution from those committees as quickly as possible. And when this is implemented, we expect to see more creation of jobs, drop in prices of goods and services, and a total revival of the economy. And we assured the FEC that we will do all that is necessary to come up with the resolution as quickly as possible so that Nigerians can begin to enjoy the shared prosperity and the renewed hope agenda in 2024. Agreement between Nigeria and the UAE, and with the approval, we can now send the already signed IPPA to the National Assembly for ratification. And also, the Council also approved that the Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment should also immediately invoke Article 26 or so of that agreement, which mandates that we can review and ratify and review and amend some sections of the IPPA to favor or to conform with the current existing IPPA model that we are using, which is the 2016 model.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, disclosed that the President mandated that an executive order be brought forward in conjunction with the Ministers of Trade and Investment, Finance and Health, towards ensuring that real sector and citizens feel the impact of the renewed hope agenda. Fagbemi further spoke on the resolution the Council made on Nigeria and the UAE relations.
One of the major issues discussed was the issue of double taxation, all with a view to encouraging foreign direct investment. Council noted that the agreement between both countries, that is between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates, include personal income tax, company income tax, petroleum profit tax, information technology, levy, tertiary education tax, and capital gain tax. Because of the effect of this cooperation or the benefits that will accrue to Nigeria, the Council agreed and directed that the agreement that had been signed already should be taken further by mandating, authorizing the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice to prepare a bill along this line to take to the National Assembly for ratification. The effect of this is that it has ceased to be an ordinary agreement, but an agreement between two countries. Council also decided that going forward, we should also have a very solid national policy on taxation that will drive or attract foreign investment. So on the part of the direct foreign investment.
In a move to manage public funds prudently, President Tinubu announced a 60% reduction in government expenditures on official travels, aiming for fiscal responsibility. The president's spokesman, Ajuri Ngelale, clarified the approved entourage sizes for both international and domestic travels, emphasizing the cost cuts strategy. Amid allegations of fraud, President Tinubu suspended Dr. Betta Edu, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, pending a thorough investigation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Edu is currently being investigated over alleged diversion of 585 million naira, among other allegations. President Tinubu reiterated his commitment to addressing insecurity and corruption at a book launch on former President Muhammadu Buhari, pledging to continue the fight against societal ills. The president reaffirmed his commitment to eliminating the remnants of Boko Haram and criminal gangs. President Tinubu, however, acknowledged Buhari's contributions, describing him as a patriot and a leader who promoted local productions to boost the economy.
You assume office at a very difficult time in our nation's life. The economy was prior into recession. Boko Haram has taken over so many local governments as a part of our country. It is easy to forget that United Nations building was attacked here in Abuja. It's easy to forget the role of armed forces. But if this book is carefully read and taught in terms of substance in our various schools, the job of securing every inch of our nation may not be completed, but you did a wonderful job. And we will not rest, I promise you, until every agent of darkness is completely eliminated.
Former President Muhammadu Buhari applauded the documentation of his legacy in the two new publications. One of the books entitled Working with Buhari, Reflections of a Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, 2015 to 2023, was written by Mr. Femi Adesina, who was Buhari's spokesman for 8 years.
These books presented today once again exemplify the sanctity of records and the role they play in documenting facts and figures, achievements and milestones, either in our personal lives or in the life of the nation.
The event saw political office holders and dignitaries making contributions towards the book launch, emphasizing the importance of documenting achievements and milestones. Vice President Kashim Shettima inaugurated the National Philanthropic Office Committee, highlighting its role in raising alternative funding for small and medium enterprises. In a groundbreaking move, the Vice President assured government support towards the success of the private sector-driven initiative. Further stressing the move of Tinubu administration in shaping a new narrative for Nigeria in 2024, Shettima said the MPO's mission is to establish 12 industrial hubs and accelerators for startups nationwide. Amidst rising concerns, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike announced stringent measures to combat kidnapping and banditry within the Federal Capital Territory. The minister said at a town hall meeting with stakeholders that President Tinubu had directed the provisions of necessary tools, emphasizing no room for excuses by security operatives. Wike reassured residents of imminent changes and assured stakeholders' support. The minister also urged members of the public not to promote activities of the criminal element in the public space. He also advised them against crowdfunding to raise money for ransom payments.
It is not going to be business as usual. Everything has to be done to protect life and property. Without protection of life and property, then we have no business to be in government. My coming here today is to assure you that we are very, very serious. Without information, there's nothing we can do. And And that is where you have to play a key role. Traditional institution, you have a role to play. Community leaders, you have a role to play. Because by information, you help the security agencies to proactively take control before anything will happen. And so in the next few days, you will see the action of the security agencies to make sure that this kidnapping is brought to a halt. You never can tell. Some of the informants may be here. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I'm the Minister of FCT. Those who know my track record know. You will sleep again. Informant, you will not sleep again.
A federal lawmaker has called for the regulation of illegal mining in Nigeria. While the Nigerian Export Promotion Council has implored financial institutions to support exporters to enhance their capacity to scale up productions towards meeting international standards. Details on those reports and more were filed in by our correspondent Linda Ike.
Federal lawmaker representing Ibadan Northwest and Southwest Federal Constituency of Oyo State, Stanley Olajide, has condemned the recent Ibadan explosion. The lawmaker corroborated the statement made by the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, that the explosion was caused by the activities of illegal miners in the state. Recall that the city of Ibadan experienced explosion during the week as residents of the state ran in fear, believing it could be a bomb blast. Speaking to newsmen on Wednesday at the National Assembly, the lawmaker called for thorough investigation as he confirmed that the victims are already receiving treatment at various hospitals in Ibadan. Olajide commended the quick responses from the NEMA, Nigeria Fire Service, and the Nigerian Police Force. Honorable Adomorin Kuye from Lagos State also calls for the regulation of illegal mining across the country, even as he advocated establishment of state policing to scale up security in Nigeria.
Community policing is actually one of the the smartest way to police your people. Somebody sees something, somebody knows something, they need to speak at the right time. Failure to do so will cause situation like this. So we are going to reopen that. Because remember, we've also been talking about state police, we've been talking about community police. So I think, situation like this would actually present an urgency to the matter so that way we can get the right support that we need to pass whatever legislation that we need to pass for this. So definitely we are going to pick this up, and it's going to be in the front burner of the activity of the House as soon as we reconvene as a House, so that this will not happen anywhere in Nigeria, which means also the control of explosive. If you have this kind of explosive that could do this much damage, so that means that this thing is relatively available in the hands of the wrong people. So we also have to look at how these things are stored, and so we're going to take a holistic approach.
The Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, has implored financial institutions to support exporters to enhance their capacities to scale up productions and accept international markets. Executive Director of the Council, Nonye Ayeni, who gave the advice on Thursday in Abuja during the NEPC 2023 progress report and performance of the non-oil export sector, said the council exported over 6.685 million metric tons of non-oil products in 2023. Executive Director of the council, Nonye Ayeni, who gave the advice on Thursday in Abuja during the NEPC 2023 progress reports and performance of the non-oil export sector, said the council exported over 6.685 million metric tons of non-oil products in 2023. Ayeni said non-oil products made a significant impact in the global market, penetrating markets across 124 countries in Africa and other countries in the world. She said though non-oil export has dropped by over $300 million from $4.8 billion in 2022 to $4.5 billion in 2023 due to reject and other challenges. She urged that financial institutions should take advantage of the opportunities in the non-oil sector, especially now that Nigeria has the African Continental Free Trade Zone, which is the single largest economic bloc in the continent. Ayeni further expressed optimism that supporting the non-oil sector will increase the volume of exports, stimulate value addition, thereby increasing the foreign exchange to attract premium pricing in the global market and grow the economy of the country. She disclosed that in November 2023, NEPC signed a memorandum of understanding with the Mexican Business Council for foreign trade investment and technology to give more traction and increase volume for non-oil sector products, including hibiscus and other exportable products to Mexico.
We have a new mantra to drive our core objective, and the council mandate, which we termed Operations Double Your Export. Under this mantra, we have come up with some initiatives and programs to complement the existing ones, all geared towards significantly increasing our non-oil export and improving our foreign exchange earnings for economic growth and diversification. This also aligns with the industrial revitalization plan of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, and the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency, President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, His Excellency. Most of these initiatives and programs are as follows. We came up with what we call the Export 35 Redefined. The Council came up with what we call the Export 35 Redefined. We all know that Nigeria is blessed with a lot of natural resources, agricultural products, and the derivatives of such products. However, in order to achieve the Council's objective, we have carefully selected top 20 agricultural products to give them intensity and focus right from the farm gate through the value chain to market access. Collaborating in this regard with various agencies, parastatals, and stakeholders to minimize the challenges faced by exporters and ease the exporting logistics problems that they have, and also they enable them to scale up their exportation.
Linda Ike, MITV News.
Our correspondent Miriam Enahimium brings to you reports from the education sector and more.
The newly appointed Permanent Secretary of Federal Ministry of Education, Mrs. Didi Esther Bratson-Jack, has vowed to reward excellence. She gave the pledge when he officially assumed a duty in the ministry. Upon her arrival at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja, Mrs. Bratson-Jack was warmly received by Halaji Zubeiru Abdullahi, the director overseeing the office of the Permanent Secretary, and the other directors. Mrs. Bratson-Jack pledged to foster a culture of excellence within the ministry, stressing the importance of maintaining truth, honesty, fairness, and justice in all operations.
Embracing the FCIP 25, we aim to transform public service delivery, enhancing our nation's development trajectory. We can rewrite the narrative through capacity building, talent management, performance management systems, and innovation, dispelling the myth of poor performance in the public sector. In doing so, we will become a stronger, democratic, and prosperous nation. Let us rekindle the spirit of service that once characterized the Nigerian public service. It is time to lead excellently, implementing community-driven projects that shape our nation's destiny. Our goals are ambitious, but we can revive the legacy of impactful contributions with dedication and commitment.
The federal government has expressed readiness to partnerships, particularly with the European Union and America, in order to protect Nigeria's educational sector and, by extension, the future development in the country currently being threatened by the mass exodus of Nigerians from all sectors, including education, in what is commonly referred to as Japa syndrome. The Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, while speaking on Thursday at the maiden edition of Erasmus National Information Day in Abuja, raised concern that with the massive brain drain being witnessed in virtually all sectors of the nation's economy, the future may not be good for Nigeria, as those living to serve and service the economy of other countries, we are creating a gap between the nation's outputs and inputs. Sununu had noted that the Erasmus scholarship scheme was of great importance to African countries, including Nigeria, as its multinational exchange dimension of programming aimed at promoting international collaboration, enhancing international talent, facilitating mobility among borders for the exchange of knowledge and research, and enhancing the employability of candidates in various fields, among others.
Inform you that the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration recognizes that Nigerian education system must be prepared and equipped to effectively contribute the quota to national development, be able to produce globally competitive graduates with requisite knowledge, skill, and competencies needed to drive the country's quest for sustainable development and increase national prosperity, and also prepare and arm Nigerian youth to take competitive advantage of 21st century knowledge-driven economy within and outside the country. It is in line with above agenda that the Federal Ministry of Education launched a roadmap for Nigerian education sector, aimed at repositioning Nigerian education system to effectively play its central role in the national reform. However, the successful implementation of roadmap requires effective collaboration with international development partners and other relevant stakeholders. The Erasmus National Day Information Day is therefore a step in the right direction to sensitize Nigerian students and scholars about various opportunities offered by European Union in the areas of leadership development, entrepreneurship education, technology hubs, and capacity building on research and innovation, among others.
The European Union Deputy Head of Delegation, Head of Politics, Press and Information Section, Zizimus Vegus, explained that the Erasmus Scholarship Program enables awardees to school and work in Europe and then return to their respective countries to impact what they have learned. However, noted a drop in the number of awardees in 2023. While disclosing that Nigeria has the highest number of awardees in Africa and the 5th globally, even its demographic footprint, he added that the European Union was hoping to see Nigeria take the lead globally with the highest number of awardees.
Erasmus Plus exemplifies European Union's values and vision regarding global, human-centric governance, supported by education, research, and knowledge fraternities that put human prosperity, peace, and inclusion in the center of their mission. All these simple human aspirations and qualities are so dearly missing around the world right now. We all have to recognize. So being part of Erasmus Plus is not being part of an academic experience. It's not simply a scholarship, but is the commitment to a mission to reinforce global citizenship. In times of crisis that we experience all around us, we need more of that. Namely, educated citizens that animate meaningful and evidence-based conversations on how to act together to strengthen all these that unite us and fight against what and those that divide us.
The Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Architect Sonia Chono, has stated that the agency would boost its intervention project in higher institutions in Plateau State in line with the state's preeminent status in North Central Zone. Chono made this known on Thursday while receiving in the headquarters the Plateau State Governor, Caleb Mutfwang, in Abuja. The Executive Secretary congratulated Mutfwang on its elections victory, said the fund has recorded improvements in the delivery of projects in Plateau State. The TED Fund boss also revealed that the fund was putting finishing touches on disbursement of funds for its high-impact intervention projects, adding that institutions in Plateau are expected to benefit from the special projects.
To ensure that Plateau State, given its preeminent status in the zone, will continue to produce the manpower needs of our country. Those steps you're taking, the priority you've accorded to education, and the need to deliver skills to our people, to prepare them to be able to make things out of their lives, take people off the street, create opportunities for them to participate in the economy and grow this economy. So collectively we can grow wealth and we can spread prosperity to our people.
Earlier, the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, commended TED Fund for its various intervention programs in higher education institutions in Plateau State. He said the visit to TED Fund was to express gratitude to the fund and ask for more projects. Further explanation finding questions from newsmen on its Supreme Court victory and the quest by some Nigerians for the review of judgments that sacked some Plateau lawmakers. Mutfwang said a decision would soon be taken on the issues.
To come to TED Fund because of the importance of this institution to our educational development. I want to salute the foresight of those who saw the need to establish this commission. And for us on the plateau, we have every reason to say thank you to TED Fund. But I have come to tell you that, but for TED Fund, we particularly in Plateau State would have nothing to show, because we met institutions virtually on their knees. We've done a little bit in our 7 months of arrival to ensure that we secure accreditation for our institutions and ensure that we boost staff morale. And we hope that in the coming days we can do more.
Miriam Inahimion, Mitv, Abuja.
Also in the lineup are reports on payments of entitlement to families of police personnel who died while in active service. Also added to this are reports on activities of civil society organizations by our correspondent Esther Olajide.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoko, presented checks amounting to the sum of over 2,086 million naira to 785 beneficiaries and next of kings of police officers who died in active service. The checks were presented on Thursday by the IGP Egbetoko at the force headquarters in Abuja. The IGP, however, noted the money was raised under the IGP Family Welfare Scheme benefits and Settlement Group Life Insurance to be presented to the beneficiaries from 2015 to 2023 fiscal year.
Their dedication to duty and love for our nation will forever be etched in our hearts. In their memory, we present checks amounting to 2,086,801,144 naira 79 kobo, a symbol of our unwavering commitment and gratitude This act, though monetary in nature, carries the weight of our collective admiration and respect for the bravery and selflessness.
In another development, a civil society for peace, security and development urged the federal government stakeholders and Nigeria to oppose the ill-intentioned bill which aimed at monopolizing the country's security apparatus at the detriment of the country. This was made known on Tuesday while speaking with the journalists in Abuja. The co-convener of the civil society organization, Obadiah Solomon, kicked against the proposed act of the National Security Agency to appoint staff as it deemed necessary and expedient for the proper, efficient performance of the function of the office under the National Security Act. Solomon noted that granting the NSA the power to independently recruit permanent personnel will be tantamount to opening the door to political patronage and cronyism, as well as potentially compromising the integrity of security operations in the country.
In addition, the office of the NSA does not have full autonomy and traditionally relies on staff from support agencies, particularly those drawn from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Police, the National Intelligence Agency, and the Department of State Service. On secondment, this approach has proven effective over the years and fosters a cohesive, integrated, and collaborative approach. However, if the NSA's office were to become independent, the dual responsibility of oversight and coordination could overwhelm the individual in the role. This will inadvertently lead to fragmented systems and impact adversely on timely coordinated execution of vital security initiatives with implications for the nation's ability to respond effectively to emerging threats and challenges. Most importantly, the establishment of an independent agency by the National Security Advisor to handle security matters introduces the risk of creating a parallel platform. This new agency has the potential to operate independently and could, in effect, wield influence and authority, thereby weakening the president's control over security matters as the new agency will act independently.
In the meantime, another non-governmental organization under the auspices of Oxfam, in conjunction with coalition of civil society, had on Monday called on federal governments to rapidly and radically reduce the gap between the super-rich and the rest of the society by making tax expenditure undergo parliamentary oversight and public debate. The acting country director of Oxfam, Tijani Ahmed, while addressing journalists at the unveiling of the annual equality report held in Abuja, Ahmed stressed the need for transparency in process of granting incentives and also fostering public discourse on opportunity cost elements.
Transparency in the process of granting and administering incentives is very, very important, because how do we elicit wider public discourse on the opportunity cost of elements? I already told you that close to 19% of our budget is gone into incentives. There should be a discussion. Do we really want, the 18% to be in our national budget, and we deal with the consequences of not having incentives? It needs a discussion, because there are political economic analysis that we need to make. So this paper is also calling for that, because we think this will strengthen public trust and provide opportunity for increased awareness of these fiscal instruments. The state might be doing it for good reasons, but most of us do not know. So we will only, speculate. So we urge the National Assembly to call on the federal government to, as a matter of agency, publish the tax expenditure report, which they are currently compiling as a way of demonstrating its commitment to transparency and accountability in the management of incentives.
He further urged the government to establish a dashboard for public access to data on tax incentives, enhancing awareness and trust. Esther Olajide, Mitv.
That's the end of our package for this week. Thank you for watching. Join us for another interesting edition next week. Same time, same station. I remain your host, Folashade Abdusalami, Mitv, Abuja. Hello viewers, I welcome you to this edition of our program, Abuja Weekly File. I'm Folashade Abdusalami.
The legislative agenda of the 10th House is the barometer to monitor and evaluate.
By raising our IGR from Parkinson overall.
Where we at the National Office will focus on going to Congress.
And as a child of God, as one who fear God,
the driver of our project.
We also like to know what the scheme is doing.
Independence Day is a very historic event in the.
It's a testimonial you need to acknowledge.
I want to know if there is any plan or program.
So it is only for Nigerians to doubt and go to the next level.
And to align the service, the price paid by consumers with the quality of service that they receive from the utilities. So the power outage reporting system will help us in a long way.
And there's many people inside. They are sleeping there, but they take some to hospital. They take them to hospital. Some are dead, some their head has break, some are their leg, everything. They have taken them to hospital.
I'm not an abode for crime and criminals. My ancestral home was a forest, a thick Penkunkun mountain for safety from arrest, a home for hunting and farming in times of hunger and famine.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing where we can support the new House of Assembly and your agenda.
Join us next week, same time, same station. Your host, Folashade Abdusalam. Bye for now.
The legislative agenda of the 10th House is the barometer to monitor and evaluate.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم
Marhaba bika ya Ramadan. Ramadan, the only month, the holiest month, the blessed